Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Torch Tales. I had the pleasure of talking to Tim Luskin from Tin Wells. Tim is a welding engineer and he's been in the industry for a while. He has his own tutorial channel on YouTube and he really explains in a very easy way how to do many of these processes and how to do cool projects. Tim, it's definitely someone that you should follow and really look at his content and really pay attention because you might learn. Pretty much like he says, he's explaining this in plain English. I think you're going to have a great time watching his channel. And Tim, thank you again for sitting with me and sharing a little bit of your story. Tim, tell me a little bit how you started in the whole YouTube channel.
Started making videos, and I started my channel called Tim Weld, and I do projects, tutorials, things like that. And I found that there was a lot of need for tutorials that were in just plain English for people getting started. And so, I went through and just started building
Yeah.
those up.
And so is that something that you knew kind of how to do because of your background, because of how much exposure you've had to systems, softwares, and whatever? Like, hey, I'm going to put a program together, or you really started from zero, learning as you go?
Started from zero. On the video side, I mean, I got this copy of Windows Movie Maker, and I bought this little camcorder it was a terrible choice, but I didn't know anything. I'm like, I'm just going to start doing this, and so I figured it out. And I've been doing so much desk work. I was a little rusty on the welding at first too, but it comes
Yeah,
back pretty fast, and learn
it,
a
it
lot.
does. It,
So
it, it does, and that's what it is. And Luskin, Tim Luskin, where does your last name comes from?
Germany. My dad was German, so
Okay, so he was actually born in Germany, or he?
mhm,
Oh, cool. All right.
yeah.
Now, versus when you went to school and you took some classes and
Mhm.
on the way that you have developed your program, what is something that you wished you had seen when you were taking classes versus what you are putting together?
So what I wish was available then was a more broken down step by step path. So when I went to trade school, it was a lot of they just put you in a booth and then here you go. It might help with some settings or whatever. His rods are in the oven there, just go for it. And so
Yeah,
then you just beat your head against the wall. And what I've tried to do a little differently is just break it down into smaller chunks
I see.
in my programs and on videos where it's like, okay, we're not going to worry about feeding filler metal with TIG until you can maintain an arc length and travel consistently, right? Because they're
It
trying to do too
starts
many
there.
things at
Yeah.
once. It's hard.
Oh, for sure. I love that approach. And I'm assuming these programs right now, you have developed a cost. There is how is it? Is it per a package? It is per subscription? Like, how does that work?
I just do it as a one-time cost. I don't really like subscriptions, and so I don't do that, and I keep it as affordable as I can. It's not really, trying to maximize profit necessarily. It's just after I've made YouTube videos for 5 or so years. At that point, I'm like, okay, why are people not getting better faster? It's like, well, I think they need just a smaller, little piece by piece
Spoon
approach.
feed, yeah, spoon fed, yeah. No, I totally get it. What do you what processes or what kind of stuff are you actually going through in this program that you put together?
Yeah, so I have one for MIG, one for TIG, one for stick welding, and then I have one that's just fabrication 101. So it just goes over different fabrication tools that you
Got
might
it.
use. So there's four different, right from the very beginning up to being able to weld, four common joints. So.
And so I'm assuming you have like a studio. You do this at home. You have a shop or something. That's where you create all of this content.
Yeah, yeah. So I've built up a studio in the home garage there. It's also an engineering prototype shop, so it has some different things. So I have machine tools, I have some CNC machines, but then the welding equipment too. So it's
That's pretty cool. And having five kids at home and doing this, how can you manage to keep everything under control? Like once you close that door, that's it. They know they're not coming in. You're working. You have one of those signs that says, "Do not disturb." Um,
I just barely actually built a wall to section it off. It was just part of the garage. So when I started, it was just totally unfinished space. And then I painted two walls. And then, as things grew a little bit, I painted the rest of the garage. And then it was just a couple months ago, I put up a wall that separated it off. And so I have a door. So before that, it'd just be, it's a good thing there's editing because you have a kid coming in the back door and just kind of got to be patient there.
I know that's what I figured. How long are you treating it? Because sometimes it's so hard to work from home and create your own
Mhm.
schedule and having that drive to like, let me treat it as a 9 to 5 or whatever. Do you find yourself that you are just doing it early in the day, like a regular office hour kind of thing, or do you find yourselves also, you know what, I didn't want to get up, I'm just going to do it later tonight or throughout the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, the hardest part is take not taking on too many things, and so then the main thing gets pushed later and later. So I get up and go through regular morning routine. I get out and get a little exercise, and then you know sit with the kids for a minute, and then head out to work. But actually getting to the regular videos has been difficult because I take on other little consulting jobs or different types of work that can eat up the whole day. So that's the challenge is not doing too much.
I know that feeling. How long do you think it takes you from idea of a specific video to editing to finally posting it?
Some are pretty quick, so it can be a matter of a couple hours, but then some take a couple weeks to do. I've been fortunate to have a high speed camera that's set up specially for welding, and when I set that up, it's a whole process. And so some of those clips that are 10 seconds long took a full day to shoot. So it really depends.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Nowadays, a lot of people do know that that's kind of what it takes, but there's still so many people that are disconnected. They'll see the end result, and yeah, that 10, 20, 30 seconds, like, oh, that's cool. They have no idea, how many scribbles on a piece of paper and how many back and forth and the sound, and so it takes an art. And me watching some of the stuff that you put out there, you are putting good content and it's well thought out. So congrats on
Thanks.
that part. Were you always good on the digital side of things,
Uh,
creating, or
Not really. I
no?
mean, and I'm still learning. It's always just a learning curve. I don't know. Yeah, it wasn't
How
really part of the 5-year plan, but just
here
kind
we
of
are.
happened by accident. So
I totally get it. It happens to me too. It took me quite a while before I said, you know what, how should I start this? And I bought some of the high end, expensive, heavy stuff, and then I like, wait a minute, I'm always traveling. I have my backpack and all these other things and my suitcase. Now I got to think about this all extra gear. I'm like, no, I got to find what works for me with the quality that I'm okay with. So I have enough that just fits inside my backpack because if it wasn't for that, it would feel like a lot of work and I'd be probably bored out of my mind already doing it. It would just get too heavy. So I get it. It's easier when I wish I could just set up at home all the time, but I'm not home more than a week here and there. Uh, Now, when you are, what do you like best now that you have done a little bit of everything? Do you like to actually be welding or creating content?
I like the fabricating the best. If I can have a nice aluminum TIG project where I'm not filming it, I love that. Building a tank or something like that. Filming it is fun too. I do enjoy that, but there's something about just kind of getting lost in you know, the
Under the hood,
actual
yeah,
doing
yeah.
it. Yeah, under the hood.
No. Now, being in Utah and now with what do you guys do as a family to disconnect from your office, your shop, everything is at home? What do you guys do to just completely lock that door and go outside and do something?
We spend a ton of time just out in our yard playing games, building stuff with the kids is always fun. They'll just come up with ideas. I mean, my 5-year-old came up with an idea the other day. He's like, I want to build one of those like dunk tank flushers where you throw a baseball, and it hits the thing. It's like, all
Oh,
right,
that's
let's do it.
awesome.
So we went and, just got the stuff to build this whole thing. And then the kids had a great time playing with that. And there's a lake we like to go on family vacation up north a little bit of where we are. So, kind of regular stuff, soccer games multiple times on Saturday. But
Yeah.
yeah,
That is so cool that even through a game, they're building, they're thinking, they're all these things that they have as a kid, you have no idea what it's doing to you, but internally, as you grow older, you go like, oh yeah, I remember, this is what a 90-degree angle, this is what this is how you drill something, this is how you put a screw in. So all those things actually is just training in disguise while having fun.
yeah.
So how long you been married?
15 years.
All right. Okay. You answered that quick. You actually knew that.
Yeah.
Most guys like 14, 15, 16. Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
I think it is 16. We just passed
Oh,
16. So
oh,
I
dude,
answered
dude,
too
come
quick.
on. Come on, dude. I knew it was way too quick. Here I am giving you props. Oh, man.
Oh,
Well, when your wife sees us, like, we just talked about this last night. Yeah.
well.
Uh, now, your Instagram handle, Tin Welds.
Mhm.
That was an easy name to find, just come up with, like, I Weld, my name is Tim Wells.
Yeah, so it's just the name of my YouTube channel. I haven't put as much on Instagram as YouTube. Like it's more of a secondary platform for me. But yeah, it started off with the name was Welding Weekend and doing like weekend
Okay.
welding projects, and
Yeah.
then the channel changed to Ultimate Makerspace. And I was doing some CNC stuff, things like that. And then I'm like, you know what? I need to just make this simple. And with my career in welding engineering, there, I had some unique stuff to talk about there. So I'm like, let's just make it simple, Tim Welds. And so, I don't love the name, but it's effective and descriptive. So
Yeah. And are you, aside from selling the programs now on online and through your platforms, are you actually monetizing some of the social platforms?
yeah, so YouTube, over the last several years, I get about 1 million views a month. So there's some ads that come through from that, and then there's the programs, and then I work with some brands too. I'm pretty picky about that, but I do a little bit
All
there, and
right. That's
so
good. I
it's
mean, hey, it all helps. When you say you're picky about brands, what does that mean? And what does a brand has to have for you to connect and feel that you have a synergy between them?
they have to add value. I mean, there's so many. It's unbelievable when you get into this space how many different emails I'll get from. I had no
Hey,
idea so many people made welding equipment, but anyway, it's you got to have confidence that it's going to be a good value because if I'm going to stand behind it or promote their products, I don't want somebody to get it and then have a disappointing experience or have it break after spending their hard-earned money. So I
but
want to
but
make
that's
sure
it.
it's good.
But that's the thing. In the beginning, when you're starting, most people get excited. It's like, oh my God, look, I have this brand I've never heard of, but I don't care. They're reaching out. Hey, sure. Have you ever, in the beginning, you aligned yourself with some brands that you're no longer affiliated with that you probably think now, yeah, maybe I pulled the trigger too quick.
Um, there's only one that I can think of. It was an imported. Not that all imported welding machines are bad. Some of them are great,
Correct.
but anyway, this particular one, it's like, oh, I think for the price, it was actually fine, but
Okay.
it's like, well, I don't know.
All right.
For
That's
me,
I.
I'd rather I buy higher quality equipment whenever I can. Not necessarily top end stuff, but better than the lowest end, and that usually serves me well. And
Gotcha.
so,
Yeah.
nothing has been terrible, no really bad experiences, but there's one that it's like I probably would have passed on that.
I get it. Do you feel comfortable telling me who you are affiliated with now?
So a few of the companies I work with, Send Cut Send, it's an online laser cut service. I've been a customer of theirs for years before I ever worked with them, and Yeah, it's really nice. You can upload your drawing, and then they send you laser cut plates in the mail.
Oh,
HTP, USA Weld, they have a lot of really good equipment that's more affordable than some of the name brands you see at the welding supplies, but they're still high quality stuff. So I work with them. Um, yeah, those are a couple of the main ones.
cool, cool. When you are aside from, of course, the social content, like with what like we've mentioned before, you're still taking side jobs. You're still actually out there doing some welds here and there for whoever knocks on the door and wants to pay.
Yeah, I'd like to do a little more of that, but it's just time limited, so I only take on
Yeah.
stuff here and there. But some are pretty interesting. I did one not too long ago, making a bunch of custom mounts for cameras on dirt bikes. So
Hmm.
you take the dirt bike parts and then reverse engineer and plasma cut out some replacement ones that had mounts for fairly heavy cameras on them. And anyway, those
Gotcha.
kind of things are pretty
So what
interesting.
were you
But
using? Like aluminum or like what were you?
just mild steel.
Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha. Okay.
I
Well, yeah,
mean,
yeah.
they weren't on there permanently, so
You
you
got
know.
it. Got it. Social media on which is your best platform now? Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Like what's your best platform?
It's YouTube. I'm just on YouTube and Instagram. I guess some of it pipes through to Facebook, but I've pretty much been all in on YouTube from the beginning. The thing I like about it is I like the long form content. I think it's
Me-
easier to teach because I do a
Yeah.
lot of tutorial stuff, and also it's a library. And so I have videos from 5 years ago that still get a lot of traffic now. Where Instagram, it kind of comes and goes pretty fast.
It does. It does. So you remember your first um, post on Instagram and YouTube?
So on YouTube, it was I did a little project building a hibachi grill. So I took cut off a pipe and then I split it and then
Okay.
cut some pieces to weld on and made a little tabletop hibachi grill. I'm not sure on Instagram which what I put up first. I don't
Well,
know.
I can tell you. I think the first post you put on Instagram was in 2020, and I think it was one of your daughters um, doing some sort of weld.
Oh yeah, yeah. There were a couple of them back then. She was
Yeah, yeah. Now, when you look at your Instagram now, I think you have a little bit over 20,000 followers or something like that.
mhm.
Not sure on YouTube, but what was one number that as you kept watching your platforms, when you reach that number, you go like, "Hey, mom, I made it."
Um, on a lot of the stuff on Instagram, I think is spillover from the YouTube. YouTube, I think right now I'm about 380,000.
Okay.
But when I hit 100,000, that was. I mean, when I hit 1,000, it was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe anybody's watching this stuff. But then, it kept going, and I found some ways to be helpful to a certain group of people. And yeah, I think 100,000 on YouTube, it's like that starts to feel kind of real.
It does. It does. Congratulations, man, because it really does. Um, where would you like to see yourself, the brand, 10 years from now?
So I'd like to get into some more standard products and selling some physical products that can help
Okay.
people learn. I've started working on a few things. So weld together kits that give you a useful tool at the end of it, so you can practice a skill and then have something there. And that's the direction I'd like to go. And then beyond that, getting into some more actual fabrication where I'm, doing some more of the hands-on. I like the digital stuff, but I like actually doing the work too.
Well, have you ever thought about, maybe also doing just physical teaching, come up with something in your town, in your city or whatever, and just do some hands-on actual classes?
I've thought about it. I think I'd like doing that. The space is a challenge. I don't want to do that out of my home. I'd want to set up a space, so
Correct.
that's just a significant investment to do. But I think it would
Yeah.
be pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. Knowledge is power, and all this knowledge that you have acquired, definitely just passing that torch forward, literally. I
Mhm.
think it's always a feel good kind of thing. Do you travel and go to shows? Shows like maybe FabTech? Have you ever been to FabTech?
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna be at FabTech. I went back, when I was in engineering and doing research and those sorts of things. I'd go to FabTech and present at little conferences and stuff. But then it was kind of a long time before I went again. But I'll be there. I'll be there this month, so
Oh, really
be
cool. So you're
fun.
gonna be there.
Yeah,
Well, definitely you gotta come by my company booth, my company I work for. It's Uniweld Products, so we're in the metal fabrication side. So yeah, just
yeah,
come say hi so we can shake hands.
awesome. Yeah, I will for sure.
For sure. First time you went to FabTech, what was your take? Were you overwhelmed as everyone usually is?
It was huge. It's the coolest thing ever. You're walking through this convention hall, and then there's one of those punch presses, just bam, 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 like knocking the stuff out. There's people welding over here. I mean, it's awesome. I just like to
It,
walk around and take it all in, and then you see people that you only see about once a year, and
that's
at least in
relationships. Yep,
person, all the internet friends. It's like, oh, everyone's there. It's pretty cool.
that is pretty cool.
Really
What
enjoy it.
city was it? Do you remember? And what year?
Let's see. The first time I went would have been in 2011. I don't remember if that one was Chicago or
Chicago.
Las Vegas. It was
It,
one of the
it,
two.
yeah.
Yeah, it was
And
either Chicago or Las Vegas.
so now you've been to a couple of them in different cities, I'm assuming.
Yeah, yeah, Chicago,
What?
Las Vegas, and Atlanta. They aren't doing them in Vegas, at least
Correct.
lately. So,
So now rate those cities from top to bottom.
um,
For yeah, this is your opinion, by the way, people. Don't get all bent out of shape.
yeah, I mean, I think that I like Chicago the best for the convention itself, but Las Vegas is a lot more convenient for me to get to, so I can just hop in the
that
car and drive down.
that is
Orlando will
that.
be cool. We'll see what that's like.
Are you
But
bringing the family to Orlando or just you?
no, I'm just gonna go out for a couple days and come back.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, definitely, yeah. I think I'm with you. Chicago is probably my top. I don't care much about Vegas, even if it was next door, because I'm not a gambler. It's just
Mhm.
sometimes that I'll take a nice restaurant and a nice bar versus just the hustle of Vegas and gambling. Do you drink at all?
No,
No. Good for you. That you're a welder in the welding industry and you don't drink,
no,
dude. Dude, what's wrong with you? Just kidding.
I don't know. Probably a lot.
I know that's another show. That's another show. Do,
Yeah.
do, do you know who are you a fan of out there, whether it's on social media, another welder kind of that you go, man, that is cool. I wish I can do that, or that you've learned a lot from just through the platforms.
Oh man, there's a lot. I mean, you've got some of the originals like Jody Welding Tips and Tricks has been
Yeah.
putting out his tutorials forever. You've got I think that I'm a girl welder. She does a lot of the Everlast promotions, but I like a lot of her work on the exhaust stuff, the tubing. That's cool.
Yeah.
Um, Dusty Pacific Arc TIG Welding does some really great tutorials, and I appreciate that. As far as just the overall work, I mean, there's so many, it's hard to say, but I guess one that stands out is Petty Welding. I don't know if you've
No, actually,
followed
I do
his
not know.
stuff,
Yeah.
but yeah, he does a lot of heavy equipment repair, and he builds a lot of stuff for their local zoo. So it's really cool because he'll show coming
The
out of his
animals.
shop. You've got the big like elephant cages, things like that. So some pretty impressive stuff there.
That is cool. Well, kudos to those that you guys are also making a difference and making an impression on team as well. Uh, do you collab with any other welders at all for anything?
Sometimes, not too much. I mean, I keep my stuff. It's very tutorial centric, so I think there's some opportunity to do that. I've been out to a few companies to show some different things. I went out to a cobot company not too long ago to learn a little about that and share some of that. And so
Have you done any
sometimes,
any
but
Have you done any laser welding yet?
I've tried it. So in my career, I did a ton of laser weld development, but that was all CNC. It was all automated, robotic. The handheld stuff, I just tried it once at SEMA last year.
What's
And
your
anyway,
take?
it was, yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's sometimes sold as being this is the new thing that's going to take over everything, but it doesn't. I don't think it fits in every application, especially custom stuff. But for the right application, if you're doing, stainless steel kitchen type work and you've got a good fit up on a corner, it's pretty slick for stuff like that. So it has its
It is for
place.
sheet metal and all that and speed. Definitely, that's gonna knock it out of the park. You are 100% right. And what's the process that you are the best at? Tell me the one process that hands down. You grab it, eyes closed. I kill this.
Uh, I think I'm a pretty decent stick welder, but I do all right with all of them. I'm probably not the best out there at any one, but I can go from stick to flux core to MIG to TIG on a bunch of materials and do okay. So
Cool. Tell me one thing that someone. What would you tell yourself when you were 18, 20 years old? You can go back and just time capsule through the mirror and just say, "Hey Tim, watch out for this." What would you tell yourself?
don't worry too much about what everybody else thinks. Like what you work on or what you do might not make sense to a lot of people, but you can find all sorts of different things to do that don't make sense to anybody, but is pretty fulfilling to you and can add value in the world. And I think that's true for everybody. If you look at stuff you like to do and try to mix that with a need in the world, put those together, then the rest falls into place.
100%. Well, Tim, brother, I thank you for taking the time to talk to me. Thank you for putting the great content that you're putting out there. It's needed. You never know who you're gonna touch, whose life you're gonna change. So that's kudos to you. Definitely, I can't wait to see you at FabTech and shake your
Yeah.
hand and definitely, just put that face to face, at this show. I'm there from like Tuesday all the way through Friday. When are you getting there?
I'm going to get there Monday night, and then I'll be at the show Tuesday and Wednesday and fly back Wednesday night. So,
Okay, okay, cool. So I'll send you the booth number so you can come by and just say hi. And you know, people like you is who I love to really talk to, just sharing a light and sharing their story, and definitely just people that are just down to earth, hardworking people that are trying to just do what we all do here and have the American dream. So I appreciate you a lot, Tim. Kudos to having such a great big family, and now I see why the content needs to be out there. You got to take care of that family, right? Five, man. Kudos. Anything else that you would like to add, Tim?
no, just thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And yeah, if anybody ever has questions about, working in aerospace or weld engineering or content type things, you can always DM me. So I'm always happy to answer anyone's questions or whatever. So.
Cool, awesome. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching. Again, Tim Luskin with Tin Wells out of Utah. And you guys, I'll share the links and all that. Follow this guy, watch his content, buy his programs, learn, buy it as a gift for someone else that maybe wants to get in the trade. The ideas are endless. You can really teach someone how to become a welder and how to do all these amazing things, and reach out to the people that have the knowledge like Tim. Tim, thank you very much again for taking the time. Go enjoy the rest of your day. Go keep growing as you said you were earlier today. And nothing. Thank you very much for saying yes. And you guys know how this works. If they keep saying yes, who am I to say no? So I'll see you somewhere else with somebody else. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
All right, take care.